Hello, loveys, and possibly hello, cupcakes. And tonight we may be hello, cakes. Love cakes. Is that our combined couple name when we have the one, the only, the OG attorney who has broken down Commonwealth v. Karen Reed for us for the last year and a half almost. The incomparable and beautiful, the smartest and the prettiest attorney that there ever was, Attorney Melanie Little. Let's welcome her into the chat, everyone.
Wow. What a intro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kimmy. It's so good to see you, Kimmy.
It's so good to have you with me. I am living my best life right now, Melanie.
Let the Mutual Admiration Society meeting commence.
So, I don't know if our humans know this, but we have met one time, IRL. And it was, I fangirled out like a little bit of an oddball, but you were so kind and lovely to Jimmy and I and so much fun that I was like, I'm literally a number one stan. Like I'm a full-blown cupcake.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love you right back. I love you right back. Both of you. I see he's in the chat. He's like, Kimmy, you're such a trendsetter. Because he knows I was in his show
he
the
goes
other
so
night,
original.
Right?
Well, I don't know,
Right,
like
Jimmy.
literally, I don't know how I would have had the cognones to actually send you a message and be like, would you mind ever
Well, we
thinking about
talked
coming with
about
me?
it when we met at the thing. I always said I would come for you. I'm here for you.
I know, but you're so busy and you have so many other things to do that I didn't want to bother you. But, for you to be here means the world to me. And it is just like women supporting women. And I support you. You support me. And we support who? Karen Reed. Okay. And why is that? In a pursuit of truth and justice and using our brains, using our eyes, and seeing the corruption that is occurring in Norfolk County and in Massachusetts.
Takes an army, right? Okay.
Yeah,
takes an army, not just a village. It's like it takes an army.
Truth.
Terrific.
And I just was thinking to myself, I haven't told you. I want to get into all of the insanity that has been going on in the last 48 hours. But I wanted to give you a little quick story about how I fell in love with Melanie Little. And it was a case that was not Commonwealth v. Reed, but rather the Maya Kowalski case.
Yeah. That was a crazy case, right?
Yeah. And your coverage of that, Mel, like literally made me want to be a legal nurse consultant. That's when I went back and got that certification because I wanted to I wanted to be an advocate for like patients and families, and to see what happened in that case just like it like broke my spirit, and to see not only a family that had lost as much as they had, but a system that was built around just an abuse of power again, right? With that system and the child protective system in that specific county in Florida. I just was like, holy smokes. And I just wanted to be part of a solution and not part of a problem. And I know that most nurses, we all want to do that, but it really lit the fire under me. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of your coverage on all of the cases that you have done. And now I will put my tiny like love for you candle. I'll just put it right here and I won't be embarrassing for the rest of the night.
I didn't know that. I had no idea. That's amazing. I love that you went back and got your legal nurse certification or whatever they call it. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. It was
never
just
know.
like, and I just love the law. If I could think about me and Will the other night or the other morning, we're talking about going back to be like lawyers. I said, every time I am going through documents in Commonwealth v. Karen Reed, I think to myself, maybe.
It's never too late. Let me tell you something. When I was in law school, I went to law school right after college because I was in Boulder for college and I didn't want to leave Boulder. So I'm like, what can I do to like stay here for a while? Because my parents are like, you're getting a job or you're going to graduate school. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go to law school. And so, so I did. And I had to stay out there for an extra 3 years. But all of the older students in the class were the ones who were ruining the curve for the rest of us because they already came into law school with so much life experience and they took it so much more seriously than we did because we were still, we're right out of college. And it seems to me that people who go back to law school or go there later in life do much better and they really succeed. And really, it's only 3 years. It's like only 3 years of your life. You can do it. It's never too late.
Yeah, maybe when the girls go to college, I've got a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old right now, and like they're just like busy. And they have all their friends and their activities and everything, but like, I'm 39 and I'm like, God, could I imagine doing it, like going back? But I have a really nice nurse practitioner who always says to me, you could do it, Kim. You should go to law school. And I'm like, oh Lord, but I just have a passion for it. Like I love listening to you and to specific people who have inspired me. You, Mr. Betterow, when I hear Mr. Alessi rather, when he gets up, I feel like he's actually like a sensei and a teacher.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to hear him, articulate the way he does.
Yeah, he really has a nice vibe about him, right?
He's so,
And he's getting pissed off lately, which I like too. Because in the beginning, I was like, he was almost too nice. And then you can see that you don't want to messy with Alessi.
Right. Oh, I love you. Don't want to messy with Alessi. Oh, I'm obsessed.
So. Right. Are you going to tell me? I just want to make sure you're not going to tell me what you're going to tell me and then tell me what you told me. I just want to make sure you're not going to do that. Okay. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
I wasn't.
So rude. It was so uncalled for. It was just right.
Right. No, I totally agree. One of my, and I
moment.
felt like it was like that. I took it that way, but someone else, Larry Legend said, he goes, well, do you think she was trying to banter? Like, because she has the best rapport, I think, with him of all the defense attorneys. And I just didn't see it that way. Like, I took it as she was, rushing him and saying, we don't need to go through the motions the way you do. It
was a little condescending, I thought.
Yeah.
Like the second time, like, because she did it one time when he initially said, okay, first I'm going to tell you this and then we're going to, and he's very methodical. He argues, his legal arguments are very methodical and they're laid out and they're chronological, unlike some other people who get up there and like throw spaghetti at the wall in no particular order. And I like that he does that because you know what to expect, you know what's coming next. And then she said it to him that day. And then whatever day it was this week when they had the next hearing, that's when she sort of laid into it. And I thought it was a little condescending. It's like not necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Totally
agree.
Take
the red eye, Mr. Jackson? Can you take the red eye?
Oh.
Some funny misread. Some funny misread.
Yeah. Oh. And what is funny? Nothing about what has gone on in the last 2 days. Like my head is spinning. Every time I get on for a live, Mel, I'm like thinking to myself, has it been 4 months since I was last on? Because what is happening in our brains trying to process this stuff in real time is bananas. No?
I know. And do you lose sleep? I lose sleep over it.
I do.
And it's like, sometimes you just got to take a whole day and just do nothing and just like not think about it because otherwise it's too, like if you're an empath and it really, you can really feel it. Like you can feel the anxiety, like it's your own. It's hard. It's a hard case to cover for a lot of reasons, not just because of the injustice that's going on, because no matter what anybody says or how much they hate Karen or her facial expressions or her skirts are too short or, for whatever reason, they just don't like her. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car and a car did not hit John O'Keefe. And that's the first thing that got me interested in this case were the injuries.
Yes.
The injuries that he sustained are not from a motor vehicle versus pedestrian accident. They're just not. They're just not. And if this case did not involve, John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. Remember last time they opened up and the opening was Karen Reed was framed?
Yes.
Maybe this time, John O'Keefe was not hit by a car.
Obsessed.
You're going to hear a lot of things during this trial. You're going to hear a lot of things from a lot of people, a lot of different stories, but just keep it in the back of your mind. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. They're not going to be able to prove to you that the injuries that were sustained by John O'Keefe came from a car.
No.
Everyone walks in here with their common sense. None of you left your common sense at the door. You know people who have been in car accidents. Maybe you've hit a pedestrian before.
Oh.
Maybe you've hit a deer. You know, like it just makes zero sense. Okay.
Correct.
The taillight did not explode into bite-shaped, teeth-shaped pieces and scratch his arm, all in linear abrasions. No matter what kind of weird photos they post on Twitter, making that taillight look like a mouth, it just didn't happen that way.
No, it didn't. It did not. Bev's albuterol. This cracks me up every single time. This is best handle goes to you, Lovey. And hey, my girls, I can't wait for this collab. Neither could I. I could barely contain myself today. I don't want to embarrass myself any further, Lovey. And then Kelly, if Chloe bit you, must acquit, formerly Gigabyte Me Bev. It's amazing to see our favorite powerhouse blonde bombshells together. You're both beautiful inside and out and such an inspiration. Kelly, I'm going down.
Like,
you both are the smartest
and
and the prettiest. I love your faces. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much, Lovey. I appreciate you. And I'm sorry, Jen Altman's in the chat. That's fine.
Hey.
My two favorite girls who get me through these days. I love you, Kim and Mel. And we love you, Jen Altman. So now I wanted to pick your brain because I need you to talk me off a ledge. And well, that happens a couple of times, per week lately. Right. But yesterday, when the motions in limine were wrapped up before we get into like everything that happened with motion to dismiss, we had a moment where the first was for third party culprit, David Yannetti. Stop it. Okay. David Yannetti. I do look at him like one big bowl of spaghetti. Can't help myself.
I was calling him King David yesterday. I'm like, here's King David. King David has arrived. And we need to rewind it and watch it again because it was something to behold. It really was. He has a gift and he comes across very soft. And like each attorney on the team has a different dynamic and they're good at different things. Everyone has a different skill set. Like Betterow would have had his thing had she not screwed that decision up. But he's like the softy, and I feel like AJ's like smooth as butter. He's like the hammer, and then Alessi is like the really smart professor who's got to teach everybody the law, like Judge said last time, I'm going to teach you the law. Now your job is not to teach the jury the law. Your job is to instruct them on the law.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I thought he's so eloquently articulate, the whole nine. He is such a package to me. Okay. I'm telling you that. What a tall drink of water, the dimples, the whole thing. I can't help myself. I'm like, wait, what did he say? I'm sorry. I'm looking. And I mean that with all due respect, Mrs. Yannetti. And it is just, his demeanor, his tone, his tenor is like speaks to me. Some people don't enjoy it. And I'm like, how do you not enjoy that?
Right.
How do you not?
I know.
Like, and but it's like he's just 10 out of 10 would recommend. Incredible. Hank Brennan's rebuttal to it, where he said that it was, it has to be fair to the Commonwealth, and him continuing to perpetuate this kind of bullshit narrative. I'm sorry, we're at my house, Melanie. We're allowed to slightly curse
let it go. Yesterday, I said the F word like 4 times. I was trending on Twitter. Somebody screenshotted it and sent it to me, and they're like, "You're trending on Twitter for all the F bombs you drop." People were like, "She's dropping more F bombs than a B-52. This is crazy." Because and it's not that I don't curse in real life. It's just that my audience,
of course,
watches me with their kids in the room or in the car at work or whatever. So it's just that's something that I've adopted, and it worked. But yesterday, it was reading the decision on the motion to dismiss. I lost it. I really lost it.
Well, and here's the thing, though, is that makes you very, like you said, friendly to especially our elderly community that want to watch, and that like sometimes if I get going, I try so hard. I swear, I say my prayers, but the mouth is just a potty mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I
I know.
really want to work. Me at my best would be you at your worst. You know what I'm saying, Melanie?
You're so funny, though. I think your sense of humor is great. So funny.
Oy, oy. Well, and back to just Brennan, though, it was
Mhm.
just, I am so sick and tired of him making like the Commonwealth that he is a defense attorney for the Commonwealth versus a prosecutor who is supposed to be representing the people, right?
But he's really a defense attorney for the Alberts and the
Mm,
McCabe's.
mm,
It's not the Commonwealth. It
mm.
is not the people of the Commonwealth that he's representing. It's the Alberts and the McCabe's. And it becomes more and more obvious with each motion that he writes, with each thing that he gets up to argue. Because when he started talking about third party culprit, he talked a lot about Colin Albert. He talked a lot about Brian Albert, but really didn't talk a whole lot about Higgins, right?
Right.
And I feel like when we get onto the motion to dismiss, we're going to see how they're making Proctor the sacrificial lamb for
Oh, yeah.
that.
Hmm.
But I think they're going to make Higgins the sacrificial lamb with regard to all the people that were inside the house
Oh,
because he's not one of them. He's not family, right?
yes.
And it's just like you can tell when he first came onto the case, Brendan, right? Remember, he's like, I'm here to make sure that Karen Reed gets a fair trial. And he was so all about the fair trial. And now
Yeah.
he's all about the fair trial for the Commonwealth. Like, I'm sorry, but the Commonwealth doesn't have a constitutional right to a fair
Oh,
trial. And I really don't think this is what our founding fathers had in mind when they drafted it, and they're rolling over in their graves right now because Massachusetts doesn't seem to give a shit about anybody's constitutional rights. Talk about the
no.
First Amendment and the freedom of speech. You're talking about the right to a fair trial, talking about the right to the counsel of your choice. I mean, these are all things that as a United States citizen, you have the right to, and they
Yeah.
just trample all over it. Like in this case, and it's really like we're in the Twilight Zone. It's like the Upside Down. I
And it's
and I
so sad. Like, if you think about that, like it makes me I vacillate right between like in being enraged and feeling such anger, and then I feel sadness about it. And I say like it's so sad when I see the families, right? Like when I see Mr. and Mrs. Reed, and I see Nathan and Kelly, and I see the O'Keefes, and
right.
and just to see like the injustice, and for them, and for what they've had to live through and endure, and Karen, and it's just, it's tragic to me. This has been a friggin' tragedy. And
Do you know what it's like? It's like, do you know the 7 stages of grief?
yeah,
Do you know what they are? Like, I can't name them all, but it's like, anger, denial,
denial,
bargaining. And it's
yes,
just that's what it feels like. It feels like the 7 stages of it's like,
acceptance, and finally, but yeah,
and there's so much gaslighting going on. There's
and I
so much,
loved it.
and didn't Yannetti talk about gaslighting
He
yesterday? Didn't he
did,
bring it
that's
up a couple of times?
exactly. Mhm.
Because he's like, now he's saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah,
Like, stop gaslighting us. If you want Karen Reed to have a fair trial, let it all in. What are you afraid of? Let the experts in. Let them tell their story. Let the jury decide. The jury's the finder of fact, not you. Why are you trying to keep everything out instead of just letting everything in so that there really is a fair trial? What are you so afraid of?
right.
I mean, they've been on defense the whole time.
Absolutely.
The first trial,
Thank
they were
you.
on defense the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like with this, I almost miss the days of Lally, right? Like to see Hank Brennan, and to see, I mean, I could what if anything all the way through another trial,
Right.
but to see the underhanded nature that in my opinion, has been exhibited by
Mhm.
Hank Brennan is it's nauseate. Like it can make you get
Yeah.
nauseous over it.
Right. Because Lally, like, as I don't know, I don't want to say dopey, but as dopey as he was, he
Mhm.
wasn't, you didn't see evil in him,
No.
He wasn't
No.
like mean spirited. I kind of felt like he was
No.
sort of like the lackey, like the fall guy, like, okay, nobody else wants to try this. I call this the hot potato case of the Norfolk County DA's office. Like,
Mm,
nobody wants it. Like, they're throwing this hot potato around. And
yeah.
Lally, unfortunately, got stuck with it. And he had to listen, he worked his ass off. I mean, to try a case like that by yourself, which really is what he did. It takes a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of like no sleep and smoking 10 packs a day and whatever he had to do to get through it. I never felt like an evil
No.
spirit coming out of him. It was just like, this is my job. I got to do it. Here we go again. Got to make the donuts kind of thing, going off with the backpack to school, and
Yup.
it's like Brennan, they had to hire this guy. There's
Mm.
like, I don't know, 50 attorneys in the Norfolk County DA's office. I think 50.
51. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And
Yeah.
they couldn't find one of them that could try this case. They
Nope.
had to hire a hired gun. They had to go get a hired gun who isn't even like a prosecutor in another county or
Nope.
a retired judge like Cosgrove, who's kind of a dopey too. I mean, sorry, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
But like, you're going out and hiring a guy that you say you're only going to pay 75 grand at $250 an hour, which by the way, is what plumbers are making in New York City. Like, there's no attorney that you can get for $250 an hour. And then you lie to the people, say you're only going to pay him 75 grand at $250 an hour. And now all of a sudden we find out he's been paid. He's going to make like $250,000 off of this. Plus they got his
Yeah.
own paralegal who I think,
Mm.
by the way, hates him because she spells his name Breenan in some of the messages. And I mean, in some of the motions, and some of the motions have the wrong captions on them and all kinds of weird made up words, like misspellings. And I think his paralegal hates him, but they're paying her too. So they lied to the people in Norfolk County who are paying for this. And everyone should be outraged. And they should be outraged because this is your money.
Right.
Why wasn't anybody, you're paying 50 or 51 staff attorneys.
Yeah.
Nobody there could do it. There's no conflict. You have to hire an outside prosecutor when there's a conflict in the office. That's why they
Yeah.
had to do it for Aiden's cases,
Yes.
because there was a conflict. There's no conflict here.
Right.
It's just nobody wanted to do it. Like, so like, what's his ulterior motive? Why would he do this, Brennan? I don't know. I don't know the answer to it, but it's things
Yeah,
that make
like,
you go,
yeah, well, I just think he has that personal vendetta against the feds. And I think that that was a power play by the Meatball Morrissey himself saying that,
yeah.
like, oh, I know that ever since that situation happened with Whitey and with how that all went down, we know that he's still managing the appeal for the Bulger estate. Like, I mean, he is, very believes that the feds are
Interesting.
corrupt, okay? Like, very corrupt. And also, as it relates to his paralegal, she is the original petty paralegal in a pencil.
That's so funny. I
skirt.
just saw her go by in the chat. I'm like, is that that is a great name for Hank's paralegal?
Yeah.
Prosector. Like, they called the prosecutor the prosector. And I'm like, why didn't spell check pick that up? And then I look it up and it's actually a word. It means like, dissecting a corpse. And that kind of fits too, so.
Yeah, I think those she might be making those spell checks, Melanie, is because they might be doing a little bit of hanky panky in a supply closet because they make eyes at each other.
They're
When
butt
I was
typos.
there,
Wait,
Oh.
what? I'm thinking they're butt typos. What were you saying?
I think that they're making the eyes at each other, and that they might be
Oh.
like they look very in tune.
Is she in the room? Is his
Mm.
paralegal in the courtroom?
Babe, she sits right next to me when I was there, and
Really?
she's vigorously writing on a legal pad.
Wait, why would she be on the bride side instead of the groom side? Why would she be sitting behind with
She
parents,
sits on
friends,
the
and
velvet
family?
rope. You know that little duct tape?
Oh, because
She
sometimes,
sits
they
there.
have attorneys that are in the building can sit there too. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's the
Yeah.
velvet rope. right, the
That's where
duct
that's
tape.
where she was. And she is, I'm telling you, every time he walked to that podium, Melanie, I said, "Oh, clutch those pearls. Put them on, Kim." Because he makes faces at her that you can't see. It's never caught on camera. But
Oh,
then
look at
when you're
you.
sitting there and you're watching him walk back and he's like talking under his breath and she's going, and then she writes on the pad. And I'm like, oh, and she's got, listen to me. I'm telling you this right now. Box dye blonde hair. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
Well, I didn't know we were getting catty tonight.
Oh, no,
But I can
no,
do
no,
that too.
no, but it says a lot. It says a lot. That it says a
I
lot about
know.
a woman with a box dye blonde and a bob. Okay. She's ready. She's unhinged. Okay. And that's what I mean. Not catty, unhinged. Like she's a good time in the supply closet, allegedly,
Ooh, okay.
Woo.
Coming in with the hot tea from the courtroom.
Oh my gosh, don't. Yeah, that's in my opinion. And love Romy with cheese. Thank you so much, Lovey, for gifting 10 non-consensual Nurse Kim memberships. If you are back there, check it out. See if you enjoy it. You might not. That's okay too. And Team Wicked Smart versus Pure Wicked. Thank you so much, Lovey says, as the credits roll at the end of the future movie, what Fed sentences will be detailed for each of the real killers and those involved in the cover up? Well, Lovey, I am not Martin Scorsese, so I would not be able to put this one together, but I do believe that Matt Damon or Ben Affleck or somebody will be producing a film on this. Don't you agree, Mel?
Mark Wahlberg, somebody like a Boston guy, like Dane Cook is a Boston guy too. He started talking about this case a little bit.
He was talking about it with me and Dave on TikTok.
Oh, really?
The first trial. Yeah. I died. He followed me. I was like, oh.
Wow.
I was like,
make
oh
a
my
comeback
gosh.
like Army Hammer.
Oh, yes.
We could do like a whole like Hollywood gossip show one day. But I think at the end, like here's what what could happen. Like the motion to dismiss, like Proctor's getting thrown under the bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made a plea yesterday when I was reading this and dropping the F-bomb every other word. And I was literally like my head popped off and I had to pick it up like 4 times. And it was like Monty Python, like there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
They're really throwing Proctor under the bus, right? Can we segue to that now?
Yes,
like,
segue.
And like he talks about she and her motion in her 26-page decision says a lot of things about Proctor, that Proctor's the one who intentionally hid the video and he just put it in the drawer and didn't tell anybody at it. And it's very unclear why he did this. And like, she really, really throws him under the bus. And first of all, if it's unclear, how about you have a freaking hearing? How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
How about it doesn't need to be unclear? You call everybody in, you make them get on the stand and you question them under oath and you ask them why they did what they did. That's what should have been done. I said, Courtney Proctor, Lizzie Proctor, if you're watching, and I know you probably are, and I know you're upset, but they're throwing your husband and your brother under the bus right now. You were mad the other day when the reporter came to your house and you sat on the couch and you talked about how, he's a good man and he didn't deserve any of this. Where's your anger now? Where's that reporter now? Is that reporter going to go back and say, what's your comeback to this order and decision in this case on the motion to dismiss, because it completely blames him for everything. I don't know. Is somebody going to flip? Is somebody going to start talking? Because he's already lost everything, right? The most dangerous person is a person who's got nothing to lose. That is always the person that you should fear the most. Somebody who's got nothing to lose is a loose cannon. What is left for him? He lost his job. He lost his pension. He disgraced his family. And now this is like the icing on the cupcake over here, from King Jong Kanone, which is what I've come to call her. It is like, how much are you guys going to take? Are you guys going to start? I think it was Bob Dylan that said that, Mac Tickles. Yep. It's a pretty dangerous, when you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. That's what Bob Dylan said in a different way.
Yeah. And it's just like, I think to myself too, realistically, Proctor had to have gotten information clearly from who? Who told you, Proctor? Because he wasn't there on January 29th, 2022 at 12:30 to 12:45 a.m. allegedly.
Well, they said he never went there on that day, which I find to be ridiculously unbelievable, but Marcy said that in his hostage video. Right. Where, or is it just like, do me a solid, you owe me kind of thing, I don't know. I don't know why he would be willing to risk everything for these potential other third-party suspects. Like, I don't get it.
Agreed.
But I could say the same thing for Michael Marcy. Like, what the hell is he doing?
Right.
That video that he made in his conference room with all those books behind him, half of them were upside down. They were all out of order. Their number. They were all out of order. Some were upside down. And it's like somebody was off camera with holding a weapon, holding a gun to his head while he's reading from a script. This needs to stop. Michael Proctor was never at 34 Fairview that day. And Colin Albert was never in the house. And Colin Albert did not murder anybody. He said Colin Albert like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And now these emails have surfaced. Did you see this in Bettero's latest letter?
I sure did.
And they think these emails are likely from Julie Albert to David Traub saying like, and he's like, oh, we were just in the middle of filming that statement that you suggested. We got your concerns from Helena Rafferty, and so we're doing that now.
That's insane. That is insane.
And at that time, Chris Albert was on the select board. That was August of 2023 when he did that video. I think he got on the board like April 2023. There's someone else CC'd on that email. It's Julie N. someone with a Gmail address.
Oh.
I mean, the tentacles of this thing, I think, go so much deeper than anybody even has a clue. So much deeper. Like, this is so much bigger than Karen Read.
It is. And that's the scary. And that's where it comes into, it goes into the Fanning situation, and that for the motion to dismiss the Sally Port. I was out of my tree over the metadata, over that we're still having production of, discovery up into literally 3 years. On January 28th was the last discovery in 2025 that was received by the defense. That is despicable.
But you know
what?
In her decision, she's like, but you know what? There's no prejudice because she's getting another trial. She's getting another trial. No big whoop. No biggie. We're just going to she gets the privilege of another trial. Let me tell you something, Kim. If she was convicted the first time, none of this video ever would have surfaced. None of it would have surfaced. Think about it. The only video that came out during her trial was the inverted one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only Sally Port video that they turned over, right? Was there one other little clip? I don't remember.
No, it was just during trial, it was the inverted. And then they got to cross-examine Buchnick, right? And that's when they did that. But there was no other snippet that they got, that I knew that they got, until nothing else was used except for the inverted video during trial.
Maybe there was like one where they were slipping in there and they were like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? But that might have been like after, when she was doing the swabbing of the tail light and the, picking the hair off with the tweezers, and the glass was on the bumper that doesn't even match the cocktail glass.
I know.
There may have been some Sally Port video from there, but it's like this entire reasoning of this judge, that there's no prejudice to Karen Read because she's going to get another trial. The goddamn prejudice was the first trial. That was the prejudice. Had they had all of this video timely, she could have been acquitted. Like, it's really like a foreign concept to this judge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it's not. I think that it's not. It's just that Bev's bias is showing, and she lets it all hang out at this point, Mel. Okay, like there is no even appearance of impartiality and of her prudence and her ability to rule appropriately at this point. She is letting it, she's letting it all show, and that is frightening. It's frightening that she is so brazen with the admonishment to the defense, with the, not rules for ye, but not for thee, or however the saying goes. Yep. And she just continues to really prop up the Commonwealth and tear down the defense at every turn.
Where were the grave concerns when the inverted video was shown at the trial? Where were the grave concerns then? Where were the grave concerns when Brennan gets up and just lies? Like everything he says is a lie. When he was waving those papers around and said, I had to get these from the feds because they didn't turn it over. And that's when she took her little half an hour break, her little time out. And she went back, and she came back like shaking like a leaf. And then all of a sudden she said, I have grave concerns. And here's something very interesting is that Marcy, there was an email that surfaced between Marcy and like all of the Stoughton court judges. Do you remember that when Chris Albert did not get his restraining order? This is like a long time ago, before the first trial, way before. Michael Marcy wrote an email to the Stoughton court judges. One of them, I think his name, you guys can remind me, McNally. And he was the one who did not give Chris Albert a restraining order against Aiden Carney.
Yep.
And in his email, which he wrote from his private email server, he copied all of the Stoughton court judges and like the head judge in charge and said, I have grave concerns. Like those were his words, right? In that email. And this was so long ago. And he attached like a screenshot from Jennifer McCabe that said, I can't believe Chris did. I know it's late. I'm sorry. I know it's late. I don't think she apologized. I know it's late, but I can't believe Chris didn't get it. And, it was like to Marcy. And this is why all of his emails became discoverable in Aiden's case. So I'm thinking like, who in their normal everyday life is like, oh, I have grave concerns. It's like not like typical verbiage, right?
Yeah.
He used it in that email so long ago. And then she goes out with her for her timeout, comes back like she has like, I don't know. And I was thinking like, maybe she has a medical condition. Maybe she's
That's
got
what I thought
tremors or
too.
Parkinson's. Like, I don't know. And I don't want to make fun of it. But like her reaction was so far out of bounds that I was like,
Agreed.
what? There's something more going on here. And then for her to use that same phrase, grave concerns, I'm like, oh, did she have a
Got an
conversation with
email.
Marcy like
Yeah.
backstage?
Yeah.
And was it like, the roof was being blown off the house or something? It was such an overblown reaction, and she cut the whole day short. And I don't know. I think the good things. First of all, we don't really know if the federal investigation is over. We don't really know because they don't announce it, and everybody who
Right.
thinks they know is a liar. Like Helena Rafferty, like on her letterhead saying it's over means nothing. It's like toilet paper. You might as well use it as. But
LOL.
the good things that did come from that federal
Mhm.
investigation is that Matthew Farwell has been indicted for murder of Sandra Birchmore. That never would have happened.
Mhm.
All of this stuff about Proctor, and then he gets terminated for his bias and for his drunk driving. That happened, so there's silver linings here. But the issue, going back to that question, like that was a very long answer, is that, are the real people, if something else happened to John O'Keefe, which obviously did because he wasn't hit by a car.
Correct.
So the fact that the investigation was so piss poor from
Mhm.
the evidence just isn't there unless somebody is a witness to it and says, I know what happened. I was there. Here's what happened. And they can prove it that way. I don't know. Will there ever be justice for John O'Keefe? I don't know.
Yeah. And that's heartbreaking. That is
Yeah.
heartbreaking. It's so sad. And I thought yesterday it was really telling to me when Judge Cannoni ruled from the bench. I was shocked when she
Mhm.
stopped Robert Alessi and said, "I'm going to stop you
Like,
right there." I'm thinking to myself,
she was like,
yeah.
talk to the hand, talk to the
Mhm.
right.
Mhm. Yeah, I've heard enough. I've heard enough. But I didn't know which way that was going, babe. Like, I literally was like, but she said, "I'm not giving," and she looked at Hank, and I almost said, "Beverly," I said, "What are we doing right now? Are we having a moment of clarity? Have you come from the fog, babe?" And she said, "I am not giving it to you. I am not. I'm denying your motion." And I said, thank you, Jesus Cristorio, for small favors on that one.
Mhm.
But Hank Brennan's gonna be able to use the ID, all the footage, right? Whatever he wants from an interview. It was a tactic of his, in my opinion, to ask for the attorney-client privileged information, or the communication. What did you think? Do you think it was a tactic, or did he want it, Melanie?
First of all, I think it's a really, really sleazy thing to do. This is where the dirty starts coming out. Like,
Yeah.
this is where this is something Lally, I don't think would have done or would have thought of. And like, first of all, who's going to ever hire Hank Brennan as a defense attorney after this if he thinks that attorney-client privilege is not something that should be sacrosanct? It's like when you go in a confession and you're talking to your priest. Like, they're not allowed to break that privilege. It's the same with
Mhm.
attorney-client, same with doctor-patient,
Yeah.
and spousal privilege. Like, there's very few privileges in life, right?
Yep.
For him to think and to make that motion, like, what defendant is ever going to trust him again if he's of the mind that, this woman's text messages to her attorney should all come out? Now, my other thought is um, that we know that those text messages don't exist. Hank apparently wasn't paying attention during the first trial because there was an email from Eliza Little to
Yes.
Lally, and she says, I got the privilege log back from the U.S.
From
because the U.S.
Diamond.
attorney was like the taint team. And
Yep.
she said, and there's only 2 messages, and they were to this attorney named Jack Diamond, right?
Yep.
So that's all there was because her phone was seized, right, on the 29th.
Mhm.
And now he wants all the messages between the 29th and the 2nd. Like, there were no communications between her and David Yannetti.
Right.
So if it was a strategy, it was a sleazy one that's going to bite him in the ass in the future when other clients go to hire him and they're like, yeah, no, I don't believe that you'll keep my secrets. And also in retrospect now, when the judge stopped him, I thought, I thought she was definitely going to deny the motion because otherwise she would have let him finish to make the record, right? Hindsight's 2020. So knowing what we know now, when she said, "Oh, the motion to dismiss order will be out by the end of day," she was throwing them a bone. She was throwing the defense a bone, like, "Oh, here's a bone for you. I'm not going to give them the text messages that we all know don't exist anyway. Ha ha ha. But it looks like I'm giving you something because at the end of the day, right before close of business, I'm going to drop this this bomb, this 26-page like ridiculousness that every attorney who's read it has screamed and yelled about it for the past few days." It's kind of like she threw him a bone, like, "Oh, here's a little something for you, little treat to
See,
keep you
look,
happy."
I'm not, there's nothing. I am completely fair. I'm calling balls and strikes. And
Mhm.
this is just an example of it, right?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, with the ID though, I wanted to say to you, Mel, like this was the biggest thing for me. So when Hank Brennan got up and said at that podium that Karen said that I thought to myself, and I had said to David Yannetti, again, while you are in grief, when you are in an acute trauma response, that
Yeah.
somebody had just been sent to a Good Samaritan hospital at the same time as your boyfriend, who was pronounced at 7:50 a.m. You are in the same
Yeah.
emergency friggin' room, and you are there for a section 12 because you are a risk to yourself. You had made a suicidal ideation comment, and if in that moment you dropped your basket, okay? And you are dealing with coming upon the most horrific scene that you could have imagined in your life, an actual trying to save his life. You're providing breath to him. You are doing, you are
Yeah.
providing rescue breathing. Kerry Roberts is doing compressions. You are in a haze. You are in a fog, okay? And in the fog of it all, you don't feel welcome at One Meadows. You
Mhm.
leave, you go with your parents. Now the information has been confirmed. Officer John O'Keefe has passed away. He has expired. And you are like just trying to get your shit together. And at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're called by who? Michael Proctor. From his personal cell phone, by the by, at 1:08
Mhm.
p.m. And he calls you to say, "I'm coming to Dighton, bitch." He doesn't say bitch, but that's what I made up in my head. And they
Yeah.
go, yeah, he goes up there
Or
and
whack job Stewart, yeah.
he's already got a freaking tow truck on his
Yeah.
way up to get you. So
Mhm.
why wouldn't you think that was going to be implanted
Of
of,
course.
oh, they want me?
Yeah. And she also
Oh,
said in the documentary that when she was at the house that, Mrs. O'Keefe said to her, "It looked like he got hit by a car." So, I mean, she's already thinking like they think I had something to do with this when really all I did was drop him off there. I'm not welcome here. And she
yeah.
left. And then he's got it all figured out within, 16 hours and he's texting his buddies like, yeah, you know, she waffled him. I mean,
Horrifying.
yeah,
How is somebody that upset about their brother officer, right? The excuse or the rationalization
yeah,
was that he was so heartbroken, yet you're using that type of terminology referring to Boston police officer John O'Keefe's life, that
yeah,
she waffled him.
right.
Oh, but you were so upset, right?
Yep,
Shut up. Shut
yep.
up. All the way up. So that enraged me. But when I was thinking about Karen saying specifically, I thought, could I have, run over his foot or could I have clipped him in the knee, Mel? Well, here's the
Hmm.
thing, babe. I don't give a shit what Karen said in the throes of actual, post-traumatic stress, okay?
Right.
And trying to deal with the legal parts, the parasocial, all the other things that are going on and dealing with her own grief and just trauma of it.
Yeah.
You know who told me that Karen Reed didn't, you know, run over his foot or clip him in the knee? It's Officer John O'Keefe
Hmm.
by his autopsy
Right.
and by the medical examiner
Hmm.
because, right, Mel, there was no bruising,
Nope.
no fractures, no
No bumper
lacerations,
marks.
no but on his feet or his knees. So I
Right.
don't
Or
give
his
one
thighs.
shit what
Yeah.
Karen Reed said because
Hmm.
Officer John O'Keefe proved she didn't do that to him.
Yep.
And how dare you, Hank Brennan? How dare you? You know, like the
gross.
chess game is not, I'm playing 3D chess here right now, my guy, and you look like a chump. You're
Mhm.
playing checkers, and you are not even, you didn't do your summer reading, and you're a walking asshole, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it. I don't appreciate it, and I don't appreciate the smirk and how he, and then he scrunches his nose. I feel like he has a tell when he's saying something that's a little bit off. He goes like this, and he looks a little bit like a who.
I had a
Sorry.
weasel on my thumbnail for
Ah!
like 2 days, and it's a weasel right next to him, and I swear to God, there is a similarity there. I mean, there is. It's kind of funny, but it's true. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. It's just,
again,
it's
if you're looking for the
horrifying.
truth, you want everything in. Let everything come in. Let everything
Let
come
it
in.
in.
What are you
Yeah,
afraid
and
of? Why are you trying to prevent her from defending herself? Why are you holding video back? Why are you hiding things?
agreed. Agreed. You're 110% right. Now, when it came to the Fanning situation, into the motion to dismiss,
Mhm.
that so Melanie, I didn't know any of that information until I read it, right? Like,
Right.
I knew what Attorney Jackson had told us, and I know that Judge Beverly Cannoni admonished him pretty severely
Mhm.
in public,
Right.
for
Even
saying,
suggesting such a thing. Yeah.
suggesting it. But then when you read her motion, I mean, her order,
Yeah.
I
It had the
said,
whole sidebar conversation in there.
"Oh, like, this looks so suspect to
Right.
me that I have no idea how she, in good consciousness, like, I mean, in are you am I not well, or are you not well, that you put that in your order and in your decision, and it shows that this juror A,
Yep.
literally was targeted, right? Because
They
they
wanted to
had
get rid of
said,
her.
"Hey, yeah, like, oh, we think we heard that this other juror saying that there was, she didn't like the behaviors or the smirking or whatever it was, looking back at her family."
Yeah.
And then she is spotted at a Knights of Columbus or American Legion. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it was the American Legion. Yeah, so they from what I read in the order, because we didn't know any of this because all the sidebars were sealed, so we had no idea what went on. And then she's
Mhm.
outing their conversation, so it's in there now.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get rid of her the same day that they did get rid of that juror B, I guess it was. The
Mhm.
Commonwealth wanted to get rid of juror A too because their argument was something like, "Oh yeah, juror A said that the other two jurors said stuff about it, but she really didn't. It was like the other way around. She told them stuff." So she had a target on her back, I think, and they wanted to get rid of her and they wanted to find a reason. And I don't know how it works at the American Legion. Do you need to be like a member? Do you need to like
You
sign in?
do.
Like, is it a club? So
Yeah.
was somebody following her? And then it said like there may be a recording of it. Oh, okay, let's see the recording. The juror, she's like, well, the juror didn't deny it. Well, she didn't admit it. She said, I was at the American Legion Hall maybe a month ago. I don't recall saying anything. Like, the whole thing is very sus. But
But
again,
Melanie,
they should have had a hearing. They could have had a hearing.
Massachusetts is a two-party consent state.
Right.
How are you fucking putting in a motion that
Right.
these police officers said that there may be a recording
Yeah.
of a citizen? I
I
want
thought maybe she
all of
was
this.
sitting on the bench outside of D&E, and that's how they got a video of her talking to her girlfriend or something. Like,
Oh.
that's what I was thinking. But then now it turns out it was the American Legion Hall, which is different, I guess, than from the VFW hall where they were having like the watch parties, the
Yes,
family during the trial. Um, she didn't admit it.
but she did
It was
deny
like
it. Here's the thing that
she
chaps
did
my
deny it.
ass,
Right.
is she did deny it. If you go now,
Right.
here's the thing. If you say, "No, I didn't do that," and then someone keeps asking you and saying, "Well, there might be a video of you doing this." And then she's like, "Well, I don't know. I had a couple of I don't know." Like, then you see her clearly delineate from, "I didn't do this." And then it goes down to, "Well, I don't know." Now you got me frigged up, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Did she tell the juror that there might be a video? Let me just I have the decision pulled up. I want to go back to that now because that is an interesting point. I don't know that did she tell the juror there was a video, or did
A
she say
recording. I
that?
don't know what I don't know what kind of recording,
Oh, okay,
but
a
what I'm gonna
recording.
tell you is that I don't care if it's audio or it's
Right,
video, like, that is huge. That is huge. And why would other cops from Dedham, when they did roll call,
right,
in what world would they know anything? And how
right.
would they know who this juror is? And we're
Exactly.
taking rumor and speculation, and Judge Cannoni said that I am accepting this, and you have given me enough evidence. There was no evidence.
Right.
None,
She said I
in
was
my opinion.
drinking. I don't remember. Yeah, and then she put that in there too. Well, she was drinking, so, she doesn't remember. She really doesn't
Well,
know, so I'm just
well,
gonna get rid of her.
hmm,
Um, but again, it's like just because she says so. She says Fanning had nothing to do with the jury. Okay, so let's call some people in and let's put them on the stand and let's see if he had anything to do. Was he ever on the bus with them? Why was he why was he anywhere near that courthouse at all? Did they have nobody else in the entire state of Massachusetts that could come in and be the head mother F in charge of the security operations? Like, really?
right.
The only guy they got is Proctor's direct supervisor?
Oh,
What world are we living in?
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That blew my mind because, and if you remember, Mel, like when I remember watching this in real time, you do too. You were covering it. I was probably watching you watch it. And I remember literally being like, "Oh, okay, they're over at they're at Sidebar, right?" And I mean, this happened within what, 12 minutes? I mean, it feels like forever when we're watching the OnlyFan, but this decision was made like rapidly, and it
10
did
minutes before the
affect.
closing, right? This was 10 minutes
Yes.
before the closing, yeah.
Yes. And then in a shocking twist is that Judge Cannoni had said that that this juror, she had like concerns about her because she had reported the other juror, and that, like, oh, we think that she's talking about this with other jurors. Well,
Mhm.
or no, what, oh, is it Angela George? Who is the new attorney? Who is the former jury? I can't, juror.
Is it Victoria?
Oh, Victoria. Yes, Levy. So
I'm not sure.
she, Victoria. Yes. Thank you, little cupcake. I appreciate you.
Cupcake.
Um, she said in the Vanity Fair article, okay, I posted it, babe, because there's a little section about this that directly contradicts what Judge Cannoni said in her report, right? So let
Oh,
me just,
look
because look
at
at,
you with the eagle eyes.
listen, I get, she's unwell. It affects me all the
My
time.
phone was blowing up all day
Oh,
about this whole thing, and I barely before I came on, I realized that somebody had sent me the Vanity Fair article, so I just kinda skimmed through it, and I was,
well,
um
she just said during the 9 weeks of trial that she and other jurors stretched conversation limits to avoid talk of the case, which would not begin until deliberations. When another fellow juror began to openly criticize Reed before deliberations began, according to several jurors,
mhm.
she and her peers reported the person to Cannoni. The juror they reported was dismissed. Well, that's not what Judge Cannoni said.
That's
Judge
right.
Cannoni said that it was juror A who told all the other jurors, and that none of them had seen it, and that juror A was talking about juror B with the other jurors. Well,
Right.
Victoria says we all reported it to Cannoni. So which one is it?
Well, that kinda throws a little wrinkle into things because if Victoria is now gonna be a defense attorney, she can't be a fact witness.
Oh, well, she can't be a fact witness.
But
Well, oh,
so
well, I'm
the
just
day that
saying,
that
I caught
happened,
it
no, I know, but that's very interesting because that this first of all, this reporter who wrote this article that was just published today, right?
today.
And now that they've filed a notice of appearance for her today,
Today.
now she is subject to the gag order. She can't talk about the case. Weird that this article came out today, and it was by the same reporter who stayed with Karen for 3 days, remember,
Julie
and moved in
Miller.
with her and wrote that
Yeah.
whole article in Vanity Fair, that Julie Miller, because
Yes,
there was another Vanity Fair article like a week ago. I don't know if you saw that because it
I
just like
did.
came up in my feed. It was weird. You did see that one too? That
Yeah.
was by a different author. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, that's weird that Julie Miller's not doing this article. And I can't remember what the crux of that one was, but you probably do
It
because I
was
have
so
like early
good.
onset Absolutheimer's or something. What was it about? What was the
So
topic sentence of that article from last week?
yeah, so the last week one was about the ID, was about
Yes, the
was about the
documentary.
documentary, but it was interesting because it was the first that I had seen, there was a, statement from the O'Keefe family that I had not heard, and it said they had previously not commented and ba-ba-da-bee ba-ba, but this comment was an interesting comment to make. It said that they believed, and I'm paraphrasing here, guys, it's in my stream, but
Mhm.
that Karen Reed is responsible, or nope, I lied, is liable for the death of Officer John O'Keefe.
Well, those are the words that
Oh.
you use in a civil lawsuit when you're suing for a wrongful death car accident.
And that's what they talked about, not about the criminal trial.
Well, it's gonna be hard to prove without a car accident report, isn't it? Without a crash report, motor vehicle accident report. Because if you really thought this was a pedestrian fatality, that's like the first thing that you do is fill out a motor vehicle crash report, right? That's what any good investigator would do, I would imagine. There isn't one. Why?
Yeah, well, and there is something that we found on the Mass Dot that I had never seen before, but we found
Mhm.
that random one that says that there was a crash at 34 Fairview, right where Officer John O'Keefe's body was found at 12:33 a.m.
Yeah.
that we had never seen before, and that it says that he is that he was deceased, but it was not from the car accident and it was not a hit and run.
Right.
So
I
where is
saw that
Mass
too, and I don't know
Dot
where that came from, but yeah, I know what you're talking
where
about.
is MassDoc getting this information? It's in literally MassDoc. I go, oh, so I look it up because I'm like, no friggin' way. No
It's
friggin'
doctored. It's
way.
proctored. I don't believe it.
I go, oh, but how did that get called in? And if it was at 12:33, where did all this information come from?
Right.
Karen couldn't have gone from 12:33 to 12:36 getting back to One Meadow. Impossible. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
exculpatory. The fact that it says it wasn't a hit and run, that is
Mhm.
exactly what the Commonwealth is saying that
Right.
this is, and it's saying that
Mm.
his death was not a result of the collision. I mean, like, those are 3 different
Yeah, a
very
lot of
odd
conflicting.
situations.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And when did this, report go? And it was open, so, right, it says that it's still open. And I said, "Wait a minute, aren't we in court to determine that, like, there has never even been determined that there was a vehicle
Right.
or a crash?"
And that's what they're gonna have to focus on, like, in closings. They're gonna have to say, "Listen, jury,
Oh,
your first question to each other should be, was John O'Keefe hit by a car? If the answer is no, you that's it, you go home. You're done. You're
yeah,
done. If he wasn't hit by a
agreed.
car, and you can all agree that he wasn't hit by a car, which I don't know what the hell happened in the last jury room, but you know who does? Victoria George.
Ooh. Oh, no, she doesn't, though.
Oh, that's right. She didn't deliberate. You're right. Thank you for
Mm.
correcting me on that. And
But
also,
she
she can't
knows
be a fact
everything.
witness because this can't be appealed right now. This motion to dismiss decision cannot be appealed now.
Oh,
The only way that this could be appealed is if there's a conviction. Then you could appeal on these grounds that this should have been granted and it wasn't. But
yeah.
again, I don't think she'll ever be convicted. Um, and I just, yeah, reasonable doubt has a legal definition.
Oh,
I don't know what's
sorry.
going on. I mean, listen, it makes me think, like, would you ever trust your fate to 12 strangers?
No,
It's
not
it's
after. No.
scary.
And God bless Ronnie too, because him coming out, I feel terrible for those jurors though, because
I know.
realistically, would I have trusted them? Yes, if they were given better directions. Maybe I can
Mhm.
take that back, right, Melanie? Because
Right.
they really, I think, feel bad. Do you know what I mean? And that
Right.
they're sitting there going like, "Oh my God, I thought this is how it was explained to me." And then, that, and also if you allow whoever that foreman was or
Yeah.
foreperson was, if you allow somebody to take over and be in control and take more, I don't know, space or more, responsibility than the others,
Mhm.
and you didn't ask a question, because Ronnie said, "We thought about asking, like, can we give you an answer on the other 2?" And he said,
Yeah.
"No, no, you
The
can't do
foreman
that."
said no. Right. Right.
Yeah.
which is causing a lot of people to speculate that he's a plant. I mean, I'm not going to go that far. I don't think so.
Mm.
But um, it's like double jeopardy is like one of the core rights that you're giving us. Even again, it's back to the
Yes.
rights, the constitutional rights. Um,
100%.
and I guess it's still going to be up there in the federal court. I don't know. It was denied. They moved to stay the trial pending, and the judge said no. The judge in federal court. So I don't know if there was a further appeal from that. Like, I mean, they're going to start picking a jury on Tuesday.
My God.
Like, we're here still,
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah, we're
we
in
all just got to like take
purgatory.
the whole weekend off because this is going to start and then it's never going to stop.
Yeah. No, agreed. 100%. Melanie, I know that you can't stay with me forever. Although I
No.
wish that I could keep you. I
Aw.
wish we could do, a million hours together. But is it okay with you if we go through some super
Yeah,
chats and
of
then
course.
okay.
You got
So
to
I
address
just,
the supers. You got to.
of
All the good ones are
course.
here. Look at their logo. It's my logo. I went to Cancun with Attorney Melanie Little.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Do you remember when Grant chased after Alan Jackson? There was a rumor going around that I was in Cancun with Alan Jackson. And he's like, Grant Smith Ellis to Alan Jackson on the courthouse steps. Did you have fun in Cancun with Melanie Little? And then he shoved his mic in his face. And then he chased him up the stairs again. And I'm like, dude, like what? So I made
That's
merch.
horrifying.
I'll
And
send you a
also,
shirt.
I need that shirt. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
going to be buying one. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, the Goodmans, for gifting
They're
a
awesome.
non-consensual Nurse Kim membership. And then to the lovely and talented Zelda Kelly. Thank you for being here, Lady
Mhm.
Zelda. Love seeing you both. Kim, please say Jennifer McCabe for us.
I
Love
love
you,
it.
darlings. XX. Thank you. Oh, I'll be Jennifer McCabing all over town now that we will be back in the in purgatory. Oh, we did talk. Melissa Dulac, thank you so much. Can you speak about the Mass Dot Discovery? That's the Department of Transportation
Oh,
where
that's
we
what you're talking about?
yeah. I didn't believe it at first, Melanie. I was like, there's no way. And then I literally
Yeah.
went on our government website and I was like, okay. Meatball Morrissey Sketty Stain, hello, lovey, says Mr. Brennan has thrown boxes of uncooked pasta at the wall. Someone needs to say, tell Spanky it's not about the pasta. Listen, I agree, babe. I know.
It's about
You
the
are
meatballs.
absolutely right. Everyone, this is the best. They're the best chat in the whole wide world. And Double Trouble 247 says Victoria George for the win. Okay. And I wonder if Victoria George is related to Regina George. Okay. From
Oh,
Mean Girls, but I like it. Bev's Bishlap, I love. Just here for our loveys. It's so disheartening some days, but the two of you make things better.
we try.
FKR and Justice for Officer John O'Keefe.
I
Oh,
mean,
thank you
we
so
gotta
much.
keep laughing, otherwise we're just gonna cry all the time, and so I know there's nothing funny about it, but I try and throw
No.
some humor in too because it's the only way to get through sometimes, you know?
It is, and like you said, Melly, either we're gonna laugh or we're gonna cry, and there are times that,
Right.
like, we have to really, buckle in, buckle down, say, like today, for example, if
Right.
you are up to your eyeballs and you believe that the Commonwealth is full of shit up to theirs, lovey, please, at the top of my chat is pinned the Karen Reed Defense Fund. And if
Yeah.
we could absolutely shove their motions right where the sun don't shine, that
Mhm.
might be a positive thing, because this is
Yeah.
about all of us. This is
Right.
about Karen could be you, Karen could be me, Karen could be our daughters, our sisters, our cousins, our friends. And fuck what they have done and this corruption, in my humble opinion. And I will put $1 in the swear jar.
Well, here, think
Um,
about this. You have 12,600 subscribers about, right? I
mhm.
have like a little over 80,000. So between us both, that's 80, 92, maybe let's round it up to 95,000. If each one of our subscribers donated $1, that's $95,000. These
Loveys.
experts are expensive and the
Yeah,
lawyers
they are.
aren't getting paid. They're all working for free. And they
Yeah.
have 12 of them. And I saw you've done a lot of really nice fundraising, right? Did you do the 12 for 12? Was that
Yes,
you?
ma'am. Yep.
You're amazing. Think about that, $1. I
Yeah.
mean, I hate begging for money or asking for money or
I
whatever, but
know.
um, this is like the first trial never should
Fire.
have happened, and now the
Yeah.
second trial is happening, and it's like She's already $5 million in debt. She had to sell her house. She had to liquidate her 401k. She's back living with her parents. She's lost everything.
Yeah.
Except maybe a couple of nice suits that she had before all this, and a couple of nice bags, and
Yeah.
she's being shamed for her shoes. Like, are you kidding?
And it's all from her former life, right? It's
Right.
all from her former life. Karen had, was working at Fidelity. That was like the financial district. She had done all the good things, all the right things, was a professor, an adjunct professor at Bentley on nights. Like, I, it, it's just horrifying. And she shows up, guys. She shows up and she is still, you can imagine, you can see I thought was actually moving at the end of the ID to see her after the mistrial and
Yeah.
saying goodbye
Oh
to
my God.
I was crying. I'm
I
crying.
know. I
I'm
know.
crying my eyes out. And like her attorneys have literally been the only thing that has made it bearable for
She
her.
spent every minute with them for think about how long. I mean, she is so
Yeah.
involved in her case. She knows her
She's
case better
the
than
team.
anybody.
Yeah.
Nothing happens without her. And they've made a motion for her to be able to have a headphone so she can listen to what goes on in sidebar. And I've seen that in a lot of trials. They do that
Yeah.
in every other Florida does it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, why can't she just walk up to the bench? She's allowed to go to sidebar." She has Crohn's. She has MS. She's got a lot of conditions that maybe it's not so comfortable to keep getting up and walking, marching up there, like you're in church. Stand up, sit down, kneel, stand up, sit down. Like, let her have a freaking pair of headphones. Really? We're going to make a big deal out of this? I
Make
don't
an
know.
accommodation, you
Right.
asshole. It's an ADA accommodation.
Right.
What are we doing? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That is
I
so
know.
unbelievable. And you know what also? Maybe we wouldn't have to do that, Judge Canoni, had you allowed there to be a speaking objection and
Mhm.
or just to give foundation,
Right.
relevance, but
Grounds.
no,
Yeah. Grounds.
no, you're not allowing grounds.
No, because it's just more secrecy. I mean, the only thing that could make her worse than the judge in Delphi is Judge Gull is if she like shuts off the cameras and doesn't let anybody in and nobody can see the evidence because there were some law tubers that went to court. They camped out in Indiana for however
Oh,
long that trial went on in Delphi.
oh
Um,
wow.
they were there. Andrea Burkhart, Bob Mata from Defense Diaries, Ali Mata was there for a little while. Lawyer Lee, like they went to Delphi. They were sitting outside on soccer mom chairs to get to the courthouse to be able to get a seat in there. And that courtroom was like nobody was allowed to see the evidence. There was no cameras. Um,
Wow.
it's scary, and I
That
think
is
she's looking for a
frightening.
reason to shut the cameras off in this one too. But that remains to be seen. She's put out a media order where she's allowing them. So
Mm.
she did increase the buffer zone a bit though yesterday. That came out too.
Do we know how much, Mel? I haven't seen that. Like,
It's
is
like
it
200
far?
feet, but there's also is it 200 feet or 200 yards? I don't know. But then there's like some town square that they wanted to go around the town square. And,
Oh,
I don't know if she addressed the reasonable force issue because he made in his motion, he also wanted the police to be able to use reasonable force to arrest anyone that did
oh,
not comply with the buffer zone or the clothing requirement.
oh,
Kim Jong Kanone, welcome to the Republic of Norfolk County.
oh. Oh, that is
It's
yeah,
scary.
wow. It is scary. It's scary.
Scary.
And,
And what if she had a public defender, Kim? The state would
I
not pay for
can't.
12 experts for her. The
No,
state would not pay for those experts.
no,
Um,
no,
what would she do
yeah,
then? She'd
God.
be stuck with an Ian Whiffen and a Trooper Paul and a medical examiner who can't make up her mind, but she can put in her report, by the way, the autopsy report. These injuries do not seem to be consistent with a fight. Really? When have you ever read an autopsy report, Kim, where it says what it didn't cause the death?
Never.
This man did not die in a fire. This man did not die while drowning. This man did not die from jumping off a building. And these injuries are not consistent with a fight. You know what else they're not consistent with? A fucking motor vehicle accident. Okay, I'm sorry,
Correct.
but they're
Guys,
not.
she said it. We got it to happen. We got an
Just come
F-bomb
on,
from our
come on,
favorite.
come on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
are people that
wild.
stupid?
I will say though, I am proud of Squatty Bello for not being coerced and
Yeah,
strong armed by Proctor.
right.
Even though he had 2 meetings and provided all of the evidence that the Commonwealth had, she still wouldn't determine it a homicide. How about
Rookie
them apples?
move. Rookie move.
Rook,
Should have had
fucking
me and Jeff do
Chico.
it. Here's the thing. I don't know if you watched the Penny McGee trial, but Penny McGee was a bench
Oh
trial in
yes,
front of Judge Bev. She, her ex-husband, who she was living with at the time,
Yes.
died after they had a verbal argument. Because conflicting testimony by the daughter Zuzi, whether or not Penny pushed him before he dropped out of a heart attack. Okay, he
Mhm.
had a 90% occlusion of the carotid artry. He had
Yeah.
had a stroke. He had a lot of priors, right? A lot of pre-existing medical conditions, and he died of a heart attack.
God bless him.
What was my point about this story? That medical examiner, Kakowski, was in the room during that autopsy. She originally decided it was undetermined. After 3 months, changed it to homicide. Jeff Kakowski, the one who DeChico said, "You should have had me and Jeff do it," he was in the room when that medical examiner did the autopsy on Andrew Savitz, who was the one that
Wow.
Penny McGee was on trial for manslaughter for. So they
Wow.
have a history of doing this. This is like, just like we found out the evidence that I found an old case where Colleen Crawford and Trooper Fanning were accused of doctoring some surveillance video from a bar in a murder case. Yeah,
Shut
listen to
it.
this. In Quincy. In Quincy, there was a sports bar named, like, I forget. You guys are in the chat know? During the Paul Fahey was the defendant. The murder was a guy named Keith Boudreau. Paul Fahey was drunk. He was in a bar. They were in some hockey bar. Punched
Okay.
the guy in the face. The guy goes flying 10 feet, and then he goes and stomps on his head and stomps him
Oh,
to death. And
no.
then the bar owner is, like, apparently afraid, and he helps drag the guy's body out to the back alley. Colleen Crawford, this is like in what was the year, you guys? 2014. Colleen Crawford and Trooper Fanning go to the bar, and they take the entire surveillance system out of the bar and bring it into evidence. And then there was allegations of them doctoring the surveillance video of the incident. You can't make it up. And then
No.
remember, there was some, like, documents circulating from whatever your Department of State is of a corporation that was owned by Fanning and Colleen
Yes.
Crawford. They dissolved it
Yes.
right Aaron's arraignment.
Oh.
That's when I say this probably goes deep, and this is just my own little rabbit holes I fall into. I think it probably goes deep.
My gosh. Like, yeah, that's like,
Yeah.
so it goes from bad to worse, and then it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And listen, we always knew it was like a good, like, listen, my dad's a cop. Like, well, he's retired,
Mhm.
but and he's not Mass State Police, but he was a city police officer. And like the guys used to say, like back in the 80s, right? Like they would be like, oh, it's like a 3 beer ride, right? Like
Mhm.
alcohol and like cops and like whatever,
Yeah.
like, and it's cultural, right? And
Yep.
especially in towns like, I was gonna say like Cohasset, but like Canton and Stoughton and the smaller suburbs, right? I think
Mhm.
Canton, South Shore is, in my opinion, like we are Middlesex County, or there's different counties, but
Don't tell anybody.
like Norfolk, Norfolk, it gets a little bit, funky coal Medina with their, history, just history, and like the generational shit that goes on. And oh,
Mhm.
like my grandfather was, and then this one's was. And I mean, ours does too, because like my grandfather was the first motorcycle police officer in our
Oh,
city. But
oh,
like
wow.
this is, it's still like your brother is, and then there's like 4 brothers that are, and like everyone's
Yep.
and they all go to the same club. So when you talk about the American Legion is a cop watering hole.
Oh, it
The Elks
is.
used to be. Yes. Like, I mean, these are all places that you need sign in. You sign in, you have to
Right.
have like a membership to be able
Mhm.
to like go, or you have to be like a family member of. So
Right.
there are just specific things that like culturally need to change. And it's been 40 years in the fucking making, Mel. And
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
that our medical examiners are an arm of the Mass State Police. That's problematic.
Yeah.
It should be independent. And
Mhm.
our former Mass Bar Association president, he was, oh gosh, I can't think of his name right now. He was a lovey. He was fighting for years and years to be like, bro, there's not a problem for like the MEs or the OCME. Why can't they do their own investigation?
Right.
What would hurt? You know, and nobody has taken him up on it. I think that it's weird that we're putting all of our eggs in the basket of Mass State Police. When you see
Mhm. Yeah.
Sandra Birchmore, that medical examiner found a broken hyoid bone,
Yeah.
and you still ruled it a friggin' suicide.
Mhm.
You need to, and you know why you did? Because fanning,
From
and
a
this is not
doorknob.
opinion.
From a
It's not
doorknob.
opinion. Like you did this. And with that finding, you still had the balls to say that this young pregnant woman ended her own life in a partial weight-bearing hanging. You're a liar. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's a disgrace.
And
And they still haven't brought state charges against him.
Oh, I know.
Like,
Oh,
well, what are they waiting for?
I don't know, Melanie. That's this. Oh gosh. Help us all. Colleen B, thank you so much, Lovey. Said, so happy to see you, ladies. Thoughts about Cosgrove's urgent request for hearing on Rule 17 info and Aiden's cell messages.
I don't. This is the first I'm hearing of this. I saw something fly by in the chat that Aiden said that there was an emergency hearing tomorrow. This is the first I'm hearing of it, so I don't know what that is.
Oh,
So yeah, when that hearing, that crazy surprise hearing happened last week, that was like a
yes,
trial by ambush. That was really in Karen's case, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't be here." And it's like,
yes,
why is it that every other Rule 17 motion in the history of the Karen Reed trial has been heard in front of Judge Cannoni? Why was
correct.
this not in front of Judge Cannoni? It was in my opinion, it was dirty. They tried to do it behind her back. It was really weird. It wasn't Aiden's case. And why was this other judge there? Why has nobody brought it up since? That Judge Cannoni should have heard this motion. She must be pissed too. Like, this is my case. This is my motion. Why didn't I hear it?
Yeah.
And Cosgrove is probably now pissed because he's like, wait a second, I'm prosecuting that case. Why wasn't I there? Why did nobody tell me? Like, I don't know. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
that
that
doesn't
hearing
make
is
sense at
about.
all. Yeah.
Brennan and Cosgrove can get hearings scheduled at once, but Aiden motions for something and it goes through 3 judges in 5 months and nothing happens. I don't know. I don't know what it's about. Crazy.
I don't know either. Sorry, Loveys. Hey, thank you so much. Says, is it possible for the defense to test second DNA sample found on JOK? Love you both. Yeah, they did, babe. They couldn't get it. There was actually
samples weren't good
multiple.
enough.
There was multiple sources.
At
It wasn't
least
just
2 male
one.
contributors.
Yes.
Unknown male on the red
Yeah.
brown stains, but I think the samples were not
Correct.
good enough for testing.
Yeah, unfortunately. Nurse Deb, thank you so much. Guys, just to let you know, Nurse Deb is not me and Jimmy's fake account. Okay. We just want to let you know, because people sometimes think that. And sad to be from Norfolk County. I'm so sorry, Lovey. This is infuriating. And I live you live your ladies, and we live you too.
Get out. Get out.
Mrs. Parks in the house.
Mrs.
Lovey. Oh, let me put my Parkses on for Parksy. So excited to see you two lovely ladies on my screen. Nurse Kim, I sent you a text with a photo of you and ML from the night you two met. One is really funny.
Welcome back to the night we met. That's a song from The Affair, which I love, that TV show. I think
I love that. With Joshua with Pacey. Yeah. Obsessed. What does ML think of KR's newest attorney? Love your faces. Thank you. We love you. And what do you think? Except that
I have no inside information about it. My phone was blowing up when I woke up this morning. I have no idea. She was a juror, an alternate juror in the case, and she's apparently a lawyer in Massachusetts, and they filed a notice of appearance for her today, and I not even had a chance to opine or tell you my thoughts, and I probably should not
opine yet. Yes.
I just, I don't know. I just don't know. I know that she was pregnant with twins during the trial, so I know she has 4 children under 5, and I only learned that from reading the Vanity Fair article that came out today. So I don't know. I guess,
we'll see. But we will see.
She's got strong opinions about what happened during that trial.
Totally agreed. And I apologize because
she knows the case pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
would say as well. And Melanie came to my house, and so she didn't have time and she'll go over it probably at her house tomorrow. Then Rebecca Jones and your puppy, who I love so very much. My 2 favorite FKR ladies, LEO from Nova Scotia, and this case would not fly here. Those officers would have been remedial if not fired. On your mark, get set, punch a Proctor. Yes, Lovey. Thank you so much for being here and for all the support and kindness. And oh, Mrs. Parks, you little sassy devil. Hold this.
Mm.
Are they all throwing Proctor under the bus? They are driving him over like a speed bump,
Yeah.
then throwing it in reverse at 24 miles per hour. Facts.
Yep.
You are correct. You are absolutely 100% correct in my book, Mrs.
Crazy.
Parks. Yeah. And then Kaylee Clark, Rust and Wire. Thank you so much. My faves. Oh, I have a degree in healthcare 12 years ago. I'm a mom of 3 now, stay-at-home mom, but you inspired me to finally be a paralegal, and I
I
start in
love
3
that.
months. It's like my 2 worlds colliding with you 2 together. Both fields need justice. Oh, I'm so proud of
Congratulations.
you,
That's really
lovely.
exciting. It's so
Oh, that's
nice.
huge. And you can do it. And you are so smart and so pretty. And just
Mhm.
try to do the best that you can. And, listen, every day is not going to be perfect. You're going to have days that you feel like you're failing at all the things,
Yeah.
but you're not. Okay. And you are doing the best that you can. And I support you and we support you. And I'm so proud of you, Lovey.
That's great.
Oh.
I love to hear things like that.
And thank you, Mama She. Again, just wanted to put it up because it said
Oh, look at us, the
Queen Nurse
queens.
Kim and Queen. Actually, I am not a queen. I am a queen. What is a queen's assistant?
You're
Is that like
princess. You can be the princess.
no, not a princess, but like what is the lady? Like I'm the lady I'm in your court, okay? I'm the court. All right. I get to like brush your hair in the morning. Pearls versus perjury. Am I obsessed with you? Yes, I am. I'm obsessed with your handle. Hank's so dirty. His girlfriend's basement hair bleach can't even clean
Well
up
done.
his mess. Woo!
Well done. Well done.
Mazel, my friend. And then Arca, yeah, this is a good one.
Paid
Paid
for by
for
Proctor's
by
career.
Proctor's career. Sorry. That's not. I'm sorry.
Oh
This is
my
not appropriate.
God.
Is an AI generated manipulated video the most obvious proof of evidence tampering? I uploaded part 2 of my findings, and it's so clear to me the waterfall video is way worse than the Sally Port. I will be sure to look at that. Arca, paid for by Proctor's career. Part 2 of your findings. Are you on the Twitter? Put your handle.
Wait,
Or
are
is
you
it,
the
or
one
is
who
it
made the video side by side of John O'Keefe's motions inside McCarthy's and then his motions outside in the parking lot of the waterfall? Because that was brilliant. And yeah, it looks like they took his body and his motions from exactly what he did inside McCarthy's to exactly what he did it in the outside of the waterfall in the parking lot, and it was wild. If that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know anything about.
Wow.
I'm
I'll
not
definitely check it
technologically
out.
savvy, but it was interesting.
Thank you so much. Cape Cod cred. Thank you so much. Levy says, how does Bev get to separate Proctor's misconduct from the responsibility of the Commonwealth? Aren't they one?
Yeah,
Take
they
it away,
are.
Melanie.
They want so whatever Proctor knew is imputed to the rest of them, including the defense team. I keep calling them the defense team because I feel like they are the defense team. The
Oh,
prosecutors,
yeah.
they're all one. They are all
Yeah.
one, and that's why there should have been a hearing. And that's why where is she getting this information from? It's almost like now is she a witness now too? Because how does she know that
Right.
Proctor hid all this stuff and Proctor put it in a paper file and Proctor's the one? How does she know all of this information? There was no evidence in the trial. There was no
No.
testimony about that because this happened after the trial, right?
Right.
So there wasn't any evidence of that during the trial. There was no testimony about that. Without holding a hearing, how can you make those representations as fact and put it out there in an order that is now part of the record? It's it strains credulity.
Oh.
Every day
Oh,
that I cover this case is like there's another thing that just makes my head want to pop off.
agreed.
That's
Yeah.
why, I mean, hey, listen, Proctor, you might want to start singing like a canary. And maybe your sister and your wife do too, because you got
Yeah.
nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah. And just
Nothing to lose.
whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever happened. Just say
I
it.
turned it over to Lally. He could be like, I
Yeah.
gave this all to Lally. I'm the
Yeah.
one who said we should download it. And where's DGMPA and all this? He's
I
the
have
one
no
who said
idea.
we don't even know what he said because nobody heard his name until about a week ago.
Oh,
He downloaded it all in 6-hour chunks. But wait a
yeah.
minute, I thought it all overrode itself because when they sent their expert there from Phoenix, they showed up and Colleen Crawford was like, what are you doing here? And you know, like the Californians on SNL. Do you ever remember the
Yes.
Californians? What are
Yes.
you doing, Steeler? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, it doesn't exist anymore. It was overwritten. And now all of a sudden it magically appears on this guy's hard drive. So they had it the whole time. Like, you can't even keep the stories straight. You thought
Yeah.
the McCabe stories were bad. The Commonwealth stories keep changing every day. It was overwritten. We
Agreed.
didn't have it. It wasn't downloaded. It was downloaded. It was in an iCloud of a retired detective. Now it's on a retired detective's hard drive. Now they've had it the whole time. Can't keep it straight. And
No.
there's no
Oh,
ramifications for their behavior. The only fair remedy is to dismiss the case.
agreed.
Her
That's
getting
what
a
I
second
said.
trial is not fair. That is the opposite of fair.
Yeah, it's like what I did was I was like, oh, it's like Karen, them saying, like Judge Bev Canoni saying you won the lottery. And what was the lottery? A penny, right? Like, oh my God, what do
Right.
you mean? What the fuck? No one give,
Right.
what do you mean? Oh, I
Better than
get to
a
have another
sharp stick in the
trial?
eye.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. And Jam Cracker, thank you so much. Loving this collab. Thank you both. We appreciate you. And then El Dente, which is my favorite type of pasta. I like it to be, well, not type, but my favorite cook is ironic that 2,200 neurosurgeons in Mass, yet they had to go to Florida to get one. Not one Mass would back the Commonwealth's methodology, in my opinion.
oh,
Hi, Melanie, and hi, Kim. Wow.
she's letting that guy
She's
testify.
letting it,
She's
I
letting the
know.
brain surgeon testify about the rock hard ground causing those skull fractures and
Oh,
intracranial
I wanted to
hemorrhages
show
and
you something. I did this last night on I did a
the coup
TikTok
contra
live.
coup or
Yep.
counter coup.
And
Wait, when
they,
he was said counter coup, did your eyes roll so far
oh,
back in your head that you were blind?
yes, I physically, I left my own body, but I wanted to show you guys this. Hi, babes. When you hit the ground, okay, even if it is frozen ground, I wanted to show you about approximately how much of Officer John O'Keefe's cranium made contact
Oh,
with
good.
said murder ground.
I love a demo. I love a demo.
And you see, this is the part, right?
Yeah.
Is making contact with the murder ground.
The murder
Can
ground.
can you tell me why? Tell me why. Riddle me this, babe. If he struck it at the same force on the ground and this
Mhm.
amount made contact, why was there only a 2.5-inch laceration that was horizontal?
Mhm.
It would have gone from, sorry, just being a nurse real quick.
Yeah, please.
Would have gone from here, every part of his skull that made contact with the murder ground. Okay. So it is impossible that you would have a 2.5-inch laceration to the right, your occiput,
Mhm.
midline to the right.
Yep.
Fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, how about the temporal? Like, weren't
Yeah.
there temporal
Oh,
fractures
yeah.
as well? There were fractures here and here and here, and there weren't there brain bleeds in multiple locations. Look, not
Yeah.
everybody's a doctor, but we can
I
play
know.
one on TV. And even when the doctor explains it, Renee Stonebridge, we've talked about this before. She's the star. She's
She
got
is.
all the answers in the palm of her hands. She just
She
needs to be
does.
cross-examined. She will give you a gift. It's like a gift. She's got it all right there.
And
She's
she
got it
will.
all.
And she
I know.
will give it to you.
Yeah.
And what our green goddess is what I call her, right? Because she's the
Mhm.
tatted, she is like
Yeah.
just a tatted green goddess. In
Yeah.
that dress, I was like,
And she's a
queen.
brain doctor, like
Oh,
wicked
she's a
smile on top of all of it.
quadruple board certified, my girlfriend is. So anywho, I like makeup that she has a timeshare down in Florida and she goes and she rides a Harley in my brain. I have no idea. But
Yeah, that'd be
anywho,
cool.
she knows all the shit. And when she was going through everything, she's so eloquent and giving all of her
Mhm.
testimony. But the catastrophic brain damage that Officer John O'Keefe
Yeah,
endured and sustained, Melanie, I could have cried when I heard it.
I know.
Like, because I was like, nobody's understanding that, like, a herniated brainstem and for his autonomic nervous system to shut down and I was like, oh my God. It was so intense that you're never going to be able to say like, in my opinion, Officer John O'Keefe would have never had a quality of life. Like,
Mhm.
even though, even if he was found, God knows, like a second
Right.
after it happened, you know what I'm saying? Like the damage as soon as that cascading event occurred, and that, I call that the fatal blow, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever happened there happened there. Um, it is just mind boggling to think that these people that Hank Brennan specifically, he gets up there and he goes, "Well, what if he had burr holes? He could have been treated if he had burr holes." And I go,
Yeah.
if you could never speak again, that would be the best thing. That if you ever speak about burr holes, you ignorant
Well,
person,
the burr
I
holes would have healed the counter coup, right?
Oh, well, but him saying that Karen could have, like, okay, I'm saying, of course,
Right, right.
this is what I'm saying is him saying that had Karen turned around, that they could have done A, B, or C. And I go, oh, you have no idea what
Mhm.
you are speaking of, good sir,
Well,
because yes, you're relieving the pressure because he did have, he had his swelling of his entire brain. But I get what you're saying. However, him having subarachnoid hemorrhages
yeah,
in his temporal poles, in his frontal poles, him
yeah,
having she was unable to count his hemorrhages. I'm like, oh, I mean, it was just so much
yeah,
that he sustained in that event, right? A fatal event that occurred.
right.
And it's horrifying to me. And how she said it, what I was just thinking was Dr. Strombridge was so eloquent in delivering it
Mhm,
that I'm like, oh, if anyone on the defense had just gotten up and said, could you explain this just a little bit, dumb it down for us real
mhm.
quick and tell us, she would have said, oh, absolutely. And when she said, yeah, it could be consistent with this, ask her if it could be consistent with him being, him him being struck with an object
Well, she
to
did. She
his
said
cranium.
baseball. It could have been a baseball bat, could
Yeah.
have been
Yeah,
a
but go
fall on a
into more
weight
depth
bench
because it
or
couldn't have been a fall. It couldn't have been a fall from 6'2" to the ground. You know what it couldn't have been? That. When
right.
she said it could have been a fall, bitch, yeah, it could have come from a second. He could have fell from a third floor window or something out of a house. Sure. But it wasn't from him in a standing at 6'2" to the ground. No, it didn't
Mm-mm.
happen. Ugh.
But this Dr. Wolf, then she's now gonna allow testify without a Daubert hearing, by the
Ugh.
way. She subjected Dr. Marie Russell to 2 full days of torture, and this woman is more qualified than practically any expert that I've ever hired. So, this Dr. Wolf is now gonna come in as brain surgeon to say that he could have been saved, because remember, he got up in open court and made that argument one time. So this is
Yes.
also what he's gonna testify to. Not only did this brain injury come from, the rock hard ground that he, fell out. Is he gonna use the pirouette theory? I don't even know.
Mm,
But now he's gonna say, had he received medical attention immediately, he would have been saved.
yeah.
He would have lived.
Yeah, that's not how medicine works. We don't do if we don't,
Not
post-mortem, we're
hypothetical.
not able
Mhm.
to do that. So I really appreciate I can't please let him do it. Let him do it because
Why is he
I
willing
think
to
yeah.
I don't know. Is it worth, like, ruining your credibility over? Really? I don't
Well,
know.
here's what we say for anyone who's going to do it on that side. We'll pull an AJ and say, "Do it." Okay?
Do
Because
it.
there's not going to be
Just do
the
it.
outcome in which you think there should be. Jules Albright, Above and Beyond. Hello, hello, lovey, and I love your little Easter bunny, or just a tea bunny, whatever. Hi, who was the judge by the gavel? Who is the puppet master? I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
It's like
Oh,
it's like Oz, who's behind the curtain?
who is behind the curtain? And
Behind the
Abby
curtain.
Larson, thank you so much, lovey. Watching from Mass with my mom in Texas.
Hi, Abby's
The
mom.
Hi. The whole case is scary for anyone who is a woman or who has daughters in Massachusetts. Hi. Yeah, babe. I know. And thank you for watching. And then we have Maddie Wags, my Maddie Wags. And why would Karen ever think his quote friends would lie and say she say he never came in the
Right.
houses? Of course she wondered. Poor babe, she was traumatized.
Right.
Totally agree, Maddie Wags.
Yeah.
And Mama She 13 says, yes, he is literally one of the weasels from Roger Rabbit. I
Well
think
done,
that's a
Mama
Brennan
She, well
comment.
done.
And Amanda, who I'm great with names,
You just go
Flueritin.
with the first name. That's what I do. Just
Yeah,
go with the first name.
Amanda, thank you
She knows
so
who she
much.
is.
I love it when you say "walk it, asshole." Great show. I love. Oh, we're gonna be love cakes. That's gonna be me and you when we
Okay,
combine. We're
good.
the
That'll be
power
our
of love
couple name.
cakes.
I love it. It's like
I am
Brangelina.
obsessed. And Gray Space, hello, Lovey, says a probability of 2 alternate jurors picked by chance, 0.5%. Wow. I think they've done those statistics too, literally. And
Right.
Armor of Alessi says Bev stomped Jimmy long ago.
Jiminy, like Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. I think that's
I
what it
don't
said,
know.
yeah.
I thought we were talking about Clerk Jim. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And
It's
not that
sauce, not
Dina.
gravy. No, it's gravy. I'm sorry, Dina,
Oh,
it's gravy. It's
oh,
gravy. I'm Italian. My aunt Mary used to make the gravy. Red sauce is
oh.
gravy. Like, I guess it depends on what part of Italy you're from, you know?
My mother says sauce. My nana said gravy. So I don't,
Mhm.
but my grandfather, who's Sicilian, we say sauce. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But are you Sicilian?
I think, no, not
No.
Sicilian. No, from
Jim.
the other part, the other part.
Oh, the other part. Nope.
The la
Okay, I'm the
you know,
rock, babe.
the
No, yes.
landlocked part.
Yes.
Right.
GM Crackett, everyone involved in the persecution of Karen Reed is quite simply evil, evil squared. Thank you for all the 2 amazing ladies that all you do. Free Karen Reed. Love from Michigan. Thank you, Jamie Williams. We
Oh,
appreciate you. And oh my goodness, Midnight Mike,
we
babe,
love Midnight
coming
Mike.
in hot, gifting 5 Nurse Kim non-consensual memberships. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Lovey. I appreciate you. And Thomas Anonymous, oh gosh, oh, I can't do it. Thomas Autonomous Anonymous
Yeah.
says,
Autonomous, yeah.
yeah, who loves the new attorney on the team? David, Allen, Bob, Liza, Karen, and Victoria Gates. If only Melanie Little might join.
No, I'm
Hmm.
good. I'm good. I like sitting here and talking to you guys all the time. Really. I know I do.
Oh, I know. Well, like, listen,
I'm
absolutely.
exactly where I
Orphan,
belong.
yes, you are.
Listen,
Yes.
as a gag order now, so who
Oh,
gets to scream? Me.
and we need you. We
I'll
need you.
take that. I'll take that. And I don't work for the defense. I don't have any ties to the defense at all, like they love to say
Oh
on
no.
Twitter. But I do what I do, and I still feel strongly about it.
Yeah. Your
You know,
passion
I don't
is
cover
yeah.
cases unless like the Maya case. I felt very strongly about that one too. Why do something half-assed? I can't do a million cases at a time.
No, you can't. And Orphan Methodology, thank you so much. Says some may not agree, but I'm praying exclusively till the trial is done. Orphan Methodology, I pray with you, babe. I pray every night, and I don't make anybody who does not want to, do you booze. But
Mhm.
I believe in prayers, and I will be praying with you. Power of prayer and
Oh, isn't she cute?
positivity.
Look at her
Yes.
profile pic. She's adorbs.
Oh, she's the best. And Michael Pepatek, thank you so much. Levy says, can KR sue to recover cost if found not guilty? Melanie, can
It
she?
depends on how this thing shakes out.
Oh,
If she can show a violation of her civil rights, she may have a very good civil case after all this is over. But we'll see what happens.
absolutely. Sherry Mick says, Hanky, thank you so much. Love says, Hanky is breaking his number 2 pencils over Victoria. I said that he broke at least 36 pencils, number 2s today. And Adam Lally has taken a lashing, in my opinion. Reese with a spoon or with a fork? I don't know. $2 for each for my 2-day advocates for free Karen Reed. Oh, thank you so much, Reese Witherspoon. I appreciate you. K Wags, Melanie, I've been on the ride with you since pre-trial motions 1.0 and have discovered so many great creators along the way. Love you both for getting Karen's story out. My heart breaks for her.
I know. What a
Melanie,
long,
since
strange trip.
pre-trial 1.0, she's been with you. Me
What a long,
too.
strange trip it's been.
Oh,
I
could you
mean,
imagine?
been sitting here for over
Sharon,
a year now.
I know. Literally, it's been what? Is it 15 months? That,
Yeah.
that I have, that was when I made my first
Yep.
video was after I saw you. I said, well, I'm going to
January 2024. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I just did it right on the TikTok. You were always on the
You were so good at the TikTok. I don't understand the TikTok.
Sharon says Brennan reminds me of a gopher on three roads praying, "Don't hit me." Oh my. And 227 happened. Says, "Love you two together." Oh, it's amazing. Karen has to be acquitted. All right, from your lips to God's ears, babe. I'm truly scared for her. Bev and Brennan are so determined. I feel like they are just on the path and hell or high water, right?
But I feel like there's no way she can be convicted. I mean, I
No.
really like everyone should just try and believe that, because John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. That's how simple it is.
Yes.
And they will always think about like the people who are on each side now. Keep reading those while I'm talking. Or just, put them up if it's not a question so they all get the credit.
Oh, yeah.
No, but no, I forgot.
People on both sides, you were saying.
Yeah, people on both sides, like on Twitter, right? And I don't play on Twitter. And a lot of my audience doesn't play on Twitter because I skew a very much older demographic. I think like 80% of my audience is 45 plus. So the people that are dug in on either side, there's no way in hell you're changing somebody else's mind, right? Think about that with the jury. No way in hell. They're never, like those jury notes said, like our moral convictions they will never be able to agree. Nobody will ever be able to convince somebody who thinks she's innocent that he got hit by a car. So I just truly believe that. Worst case, it's another mistrial, but I don't see a conviction ever. And how many times will they retry? There's cases where they've retried people 4 times in Massachusetts.
Yes.
What was on in there?
That's wild. My mom went back to school and became a paralegal in her mid-40s. Everyone in her classes disliked her because she threw the curve on the class.
She ruined the curve. Yeah, she ruined the curve. But so what? You're never too late to dream. It's never too late to dream a new dream.
Oh, I want to get you ladies ducky necklaces or bracelets. Oh, thank you so much. That's so adorable of you. And again, good night. I mean, Midnight Mike.
Mike is so generous
with these. Geez, Louisa May Alcott. Who am I? I'm not listening. I don't know who I am, but I appreciate you. And then we have Virginia says she could be added Yenection.
Could she be added Yannetti witness list, Massachusetts attorney? No, she can't go on. She cannot go on Yannetti's witness list. No, she can't be a witness and an attorney.
Yeah.
People are saying, "Oh, is that why he brought her on? So that in case he gets pulled off the case, then she could sponsor them." But no, because his sister is also an attorney with his firm, and she's already appeared on the case. Remember, she was there. Queen Tannis, I call her. I love her. Love Queen Tannis.
Oh, me too.
So I don't think that was the impetus for bringing her on, but I don't know. I really don't have any inside information or
Boston Brandy. I don't have any inside information on this either. Could JOK have went down the last flight of stairs because one of them pulled their weapon out, refusing to allow him to leave? They all carry and could have pistol whipped 200 pounds of force.
Wow. I never thought about that.
Neither have I.
Was anybody carrying that night? I don't know.
Well, we know that some of them just leave their guns, and ask the next day, "Hey, you got my gun?
Dude, where's my gun, dude?"
Yeah, don't make it weird. Okay, try not to. Oh, and how do I don't even know. Okay, now here we go. Will TB, hi Carly, thank you so much, Levy. Will TB get to attend jury stuff over the next few weeks, or are journalists not allowed? They're not allowed, babe, during impanelment. Then the Mighty Ducks said, could BA shoot Chloe to stop the attack on JO, and then made Tristan come pick up Caitlin at 1:45 instead of 3 as planned, then forced T and C to disappear the corpse, which is why they all call Chloe it.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things that could have happened, but I'm not willing to go that far. Like if a man is willing to kill his own dog with a gun, and that's horrific.
Salty Beach Girl Lori says, not just do it, but grin with the do it.
Yeah.
Do it. All right. Sorry, Lovey. I'll do it better next time. Aussie Steve, hi Lovey, says, my 2 favorite FKR ladies. I'm screaming mad all the way from here in Australia. Surely the DOJ can see this corrupt judge, cops, DA. Please, why no Pam Bondi? I can't tell you, babe. But we're here with you, and we're screaming with you. Audrey says, we know that herniation is impending inevitability due to edema. Burr
Yep.
holes would not fix it. At best, a full cranie, but brain death was coming anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a doctor.
That's,
Yeah, Audrey's a doctor.
yeah.
Yeah, she gets it.
We already sorry, Boston Brandy. Don't want to be whacking over here. Annie, oh gosh, Lord, I'm losing it. My
Amory.
Yep, I'm losing it. I can't even. Anne, can we just say that? Do you know that all the experts hired by Brennan are from the same company? Really? One stop shop in a solo cup. Did you know that all of the okay, we're doing the same.
Yeah, I think
repeat.
Accenture employs a lot of them. I mean, there are companies
Oh.
that's what they do. They have expert witnesses, and I don't know if
Ask
they're
Bob
all
sometimes tells
forensics
me I'm
guys.
pretty. He said, and then he
What?
tells Jimmy he's pretty. Ask Bob. He sometimes goes,
Oh, that's
Jimmy,
so
you're
nice.
pretty, and Kimmy, you're pretty. So,
Gimme help, Jimmy.
Melanie
Gimme
is the
help,
most
Jimmy.
pretty. Okay, so thank you so much for the Nurse Kim non-consensual memberships, and then we're going to be getting right off in 2 minutes. I'm so sorry I've kept you
That's
this
okay.
long, Melanie. Team Wicked Smart versus Pure Wicked says septic stank misspeaks and bloviates
He does
through
bloviate.
his forked tongue like someone who cheated their way through law school and life. That's a comment, babe.
I said
That
that
is.
the other day. I said, when you look up bloviate in the dictionary, there's like a picture of him.
Oh,
I love that.
wow. Give me a break 2024. ML, are the motions that Auntie Bev denies or allows become case law for anyone to quote in a future case, or only during the trial itself? Scary stuff.
Yeah, it's scary, but they're not published decisions, so I don't think that
Oh,
anybody's going to use them in other cases. And this is like, I don't even know what this is. Sometimes they cite unpublished decisions, and when you have nothing else, but these aren't appellate decisions; they're trial court decisions. And could somebody ever try and use them?
yeah.
Maybe if they were desperate, but this is like we're in the upside down.
My Maria
And
is
so few are
Sicilian.
written anyway. Her decisions, many of them are scribbled on the bottom of a motion. Denied, allowed, denied, allowed.
I know. Yeah, she's not one to do, and that's why the motion to dismiss, I said, oh, right. Like we were like, I said to not really together, but like in my brain, we're looking at it and going, okay, but then even the rationalization, it was like BS rationalization, and it in acknowledgement that it all happened, but the remedy is what we were going to give you anyway. You're welcome. You turned
Right.
40. Let's get a breast exam.
Right.
Woo! What
Without
are we
any
doing?
acknowledgement that had there been a conviction, this video would never have seen the light of day. In
All
my
day long.
opinion, 100% never. Nobody would know nothing about nothing. She'd be
Yeah.
sitting in prison right now, hoping for her appeal to go through. It's
Absolutely.
scary. It's really scary.
Thank you so much, Melanie Little's left swipe in StreamYard. Incredible, Lovey. Says, love you both.
My laptop, I
boys,
always
2
swipe out.
German shepherds, wanted to show you some support for featuring
Oh.
Chloe in the background.
I know
That's
you're
my
sitting in a
gal.
police car. I love this. You're sitting in a police car with Chloe, and and Lucky is right behind you in the snowplow. I don't know who did that
In a
AI
solo
green screen
cup.
for you, but I love it.
I have
love
to
it.
do this. Hold on. I got to make myself big because you're going to laugh at this one. Oh, I'm gone. I don't know where I went. Oh, no. Is this me? Look at, you can't see it. There's sandwiches. There's sandwiches in it too. It's
Oh my God, like
hilarious.
the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Uh-huh. And then petty paralegal, my sister from another mister, in the name of Mary Malaki, our mother. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. And Kelly is our girl. Friedland says, if police are in the neighborhood, you will check your Ring video. Yeah, no shit. Even if the police does or doesn't ask for it.
Right.
Do you think someone sent it to the feds? Love you both. What do you think?
Do you think somebody, like a neighbor, sent Ring camera footage that had evidence of something other than a car accident, sent it to the feds? I think if they did do that, they would have moved faster. But an even deeper question is, why did the cops or the law enforcement or Proctor or anybody why did they not go door to door looking for video of her leaving the neighborhood?
Right.
She could have driven by someone's house and it could have shown the blown out taillight.
Of
There
course.
you go. Now you solved the case, but you didn't want to go. You didn't want to look for it because that's not what happened.
Agreed.
That would have exonerated her. But I wonder, did anybody in the neighborhood look at their own Ring cameras and say, I don't know. They said in the beginning, law enforcement has ring camera footage of the incident. That's what WCVB, I think, reported, and it's still out there. And that was a
WB,
lie.
yes.
So I
Yeah.
guess the neighbors were like, oh, they got ring camera footage. They don't need mine. And then by the time it was found out that that was a lie, everyone's ring camera footage. I don't know how long it overwrites itself or what the retention policy is, but it's probably too late. Just like
Yeah.
the geofencing that Proctor ordered, but not for iPhones, just
Mm.
Androids.
When how many had Androids? 0.
Right. Oh, they all had
Not a
iPhones. Right,
soul.
right. Yeah.
Yep. Oh gosh. Well, Melanie Little, you are a dream. You are my
Oh,
dream,
thank
and I wish
you.
you sweet dreams. And thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so
like,
much for having
more
me.
than you know. I appreciate you. I hope that maybe someday I could have you back if you would bless me with your
you come to
presence.
me. You come over to
And
my house.
Mike, are you kidding me? If you invite me to
Come
your
over to
house,
my house. We'll talk brain injuries.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
Yes,
know?
ma'am. I would love to. I
Come
would
on over.
love to. I'll bring some love cakes for us to share. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, sweetie.
I love everybody. Loveys, thank you so much for answering our FaceTime tonight. And we will see you soon. Good night, guys.
Night. Smash